Hello, and welcome back to Weekend Cartoon Reviews. This time, we're reviewing GOAT, the newest Sony animation movie and the first original Sony animated movie to actually release in theaters since Into the Spider-Verse? My god, has it really been that long since they've made an original and actually put it in theaters? God. Well, I guess K-Pop Demon Hunters did release in theaters for a limited time, but that doesn't count because that was a Netflix release first, so... Regardless, Sony is easily the definition of a hit-or-miss studio. I know a lot of people praise Sony now, which, yeah, they are leagues above what they used to be now. Their reputation is a lot more steady, I can get behind that, and that's a good thing. It's like they decided to lock in after Spider-Verse popped off. Wish it could have happened sooner, but hey, better late than never, and beggars can't be choosers, right? As stated, GOAT is an original movie. It's not based on anything, and it's produced by basketball player Stephen Curry. I'm not too big on sports, but I do like movies like Space Jam and the Haikyuu movie. And you know what? Let's throw in the Blue Lock movie while we're at it. I have not seen Surf's Up, which is another movie Sony produced, but I know enough about it to know it's similar. Let me know in the comments if that movie is worth checking out. At CinemaCon, after learning that GOAT had a similar animation style to Spider-Verse, I was hyped for it. Like, genuinely. And that did translate well into the trailers with the low frame rate, which a lot of animated movies have been doing lately. With GOAT, though, Sony had some pretty big shoes to fill, after both Spider-Verse movies and K-Pop Demon Hunters. So the question on everyone's minds, of course, is GOAT another slam dunk for the studio? Look, GOAT is good. It is. But it's definitely not another big phenomenon from Sony. I understand. Right now, what we expect of Sony are these big movies taking the world by storm, but I like to keep things realistic. I know, that's no fun. I'm no fun. Go ahead and say it in the comments. Not every movie Sony makes is gonna be some big win, and that's just the hard truth. This was Pixar's reputation at some point, and then it dwindled down, and now everyone says Pixar sucks. I disagree with that statement and think they have more wins than losses this year. Can't say the same about their box office returns, though, but their movies have still been pretty good. Back in 2022, DreamWorks also fell into this trap. They dropped The Bad Guys and the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish movie, only for Ruby Gillman to be underwhelming. My take is this. We need to stop setting our expectations that high for everything a studio produces for animated movies. It makes sense for something like Pixar or Disney. I get it there. They've always been the kings of animation for a really long time, and for a while, they have produced nothing but bangers. But DreamWorks' thing has always been about being inconsistent in terms of quality, and Sony only just started trying to pop off with movies. Calm down, guys. So, with that mini rant out of the way, what is GOAT about? It follows a very paper-thin story. Yeah, tell me if you haven't heard this one before. Will Harris, a GOAT, looks up to ball player Jet after watching a game as a child. His dream since is to play in the big league. However, the world around him tells him he can't do it, because Smalls can't ball, and wants to prove them wrong. Which, yes, on the surface, that's exactly what GOAT is, front and center. However, surprisingly, it does do enough to stand out from other movies of this nature. Does it make it better than those movies? Maybe? Sorry about that. It's really hard to say. But I will say this movie did try at the very least. It tried really hard, and I can give it points for that. I will say, though, this movie was marketed so badly. Not bad in the sense, like, it was barely seen everywhere. The movie was marketed incorrectly. The movie did not make this look like a good movie whatsoever. The marketing, I mean. It has other layers to its story, and I found myself getting invested in Jet's character more than Will's. There's scenes where I don't know if criticizing is the right word, but it shows how the NBA industry can be. Those scenes were definitely my favorite in the movie, because it was really character-focused, and that's the film's biggest strength, in my opinion, outside of its animation. I think this movie would have been so much better if Jet was the main character, or any other character in the movie, because they're all so much fun. Will is the least interesting character, but everyone on his team is really fun. And every other character in the movie, too. If the lead was literally anybody else, it would have made the story a lot more compelling. I would have really preferred Jet as the lead, as stated. That would make this movie way more interesting than it is. If you watch the movie, I'm sure you'd agree with me. I won't spoil her character arc or anything, but if you've seen 100 Meters, the story would probably go that direction if Jet was the main character. The environments are very good. I didn't find myself getting too invested in the ball games themselves. They are the main parts of the movie, but I really did think they went all out with the environments of the games. They keep me interested at the very least, and the games operate differently depending on what biome they are in. The animation is why I wanted to see this movie more than anything else. I knew if the film would end up bad, at the very least I could enjoy the animation. Make more movies, animation-wise, like this, please, Sony. I know you've been doing that, but still, just make more. I won't lie to you. When I saw the voice cast for the movie, I didn't recognize any of the names listed. However, I did piece together that Remy's voice actor from Ratatouille was in this, and thought that was nice. Everyone did a really good job here. I know, though, it really sounds like I didn't like this film. I did have fun with it, though. I've talked about more what it could have been than what it actually is, and I do think that's a little unfair. Go is on the good side of Sony Animation, though. It's just the story itself is generic on paper, but good in execution. I will say, I wasn't super into the movie during the first act, and think the humor overall was weak. I did end up smiling more than I didn't during the second and third act of the movie, though. I did want the characters to succeed and win the game. My takeaway is this. If you're not getting into the first act, stick with it. The movie gets better as it goes along. Overall, I did have fun with Goat. Is it a masterpiece? No. Far from it. But not every animated movie needs to be some life-changing cultural impact, and I'm sick of Twitter thinking that that's how it should go every time. It'd be cool if it was like that every time, but without bad movies, we wouldn't know which one the good ones are. That's just my opinion on it. It's gotten good reviews across the board, and if I had children, I'd take them to see it if they wanted to. It's a lot of fun, a bit corny at times, but I had fun by the end. That's all, everyone. Bye, guys! Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching.